What makes a club big is somewhat subjective, dependent on the weighting of various criteria, such as the financial value, the number of supporters, or on-field success. Today we're going to look at one of these options, being the most valuable clubs of the present day, and looking at how these clubs' financial fortunes have changed over the decade. Rounding out the top 10 is one of Serie A's giants, AC Milan, coming in at £509 million or $775 million US. A previous top 5 member of the Forbes value listings, AC has endured a rapid decline in recent years, as the only club in the list to have actually decreased in value from 2005, in this case by 16%. As a footballing brand, results have been limited to only one Serie A title, aided only by the 06-07 Champions League. Financially, the club has struggled of recent years, with debt rising from 0 to 44% over the decade. Of the top 20 valued clubs, AC lies 17th in matchday revenue, as Italian clubs continue to seek solutions to their lack of ground ownership. However, new investors are creating potential new opportunities in the Serie A. With talks of a new stadium also in the mix, there is some light at the end of the tunnel for the Italian giants. An easy transition to number 9, as the only other Italian club featured is Juventus, valued at £549 million or $837 million US. Increasing its value by only 22% has seen the club drop 3 places over the decade. However, some might still see this as quite the achievement given the club's colourful 10 years. Juventus was one of the clubs at the heart of the Calciopoli scandal and was subsequently relegated to the Serie B for the 06-07 season, with a 9 points deduction whilst also being stripped of 2 Serie A titles. Since returning to the top league, the old lady has now won the last 4 straight Serie A titles, in addition to finishing as last season's Coppa Italia champions and Champions League runners-up. In 2008, Juventus unveiled plans for the new 41,000-seat stadium, which made them the first Serie A club to build and own their own stadium. Building strong foundations for the future through their infrastructure and strong results, the club's brand is leading the Serie A in competing against their European club competitors. Coming in at number 8 is one of England's most successful teams of all time, Liverpool, valued at £644 million or just under $1 billion US. Starved for a domestic Premier League title in recent decades, trophy success has been limited since the infamous 04-05 Champions League title. Despite the ongoing frustrations of Liverpool fans, the club has successfully built itself an internationally renowned brand, having developed strong fan bases abroad, particularly across Asia. Strong broadcasting and commercial results in particular has seen more than a $100,000 US revenue increase, contributing to a 42% growth in the club's value over the past year alone. Just ahead of Liverpool are fellow EPL giants Arsenal, with a club value of £860 million or $1.3 billion US. In 2005, Arsenal were coming off the back of an iconic era for the club, sitting as the 4th most valuable club in the world. However, like Liverpool, the Arsenal fans have suffered through underwhelming results since, slipping to 7th position in the rankings. Whilst unable to match Liverpool in commercial revenues, the club almost doubled Liverpool's matchday revenues in the last season. With 55% growth over the decade, their value ranking has seemingly suffered predominantly from a lack of trophies. Arsenal faithful will no doubt be hoping that 2 consecutive years of FA Cup glory are positive signs for success in the short-term future. Up in 6th place are Arsenal's crosstown rivals Chelsea, registering a value of £899 million or $1.36 billion US. The club's value has been significantly aided over the past decade by success on the field, following Roman Abramovich's 2003 purchase of the club. Since 2005, Chelsea has registered 3 Premier League titles, 4 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, in addition to a Europa and Champions League trophy. A common trait amongst EPL teams in 2015, Chelsea recorded a large increase in revenue last season. This was assisted both commercially through a £40 million sponsorship deal signed with Yokohama this year, on the back of significant increases in broadcast revenue across the Premier League. The 32% revenue increase assisted in the growth of the club's value estimates by almost $500 million, more than any of the other top 10 clubs bar one exception. That exception being number 5 on the list, Manchester City, valued at £906 million or $1.37 billion. City managed a 59% increase in club value over the past year, contributing to an incredible increase of over 500% over the decade. Unsurprisingly, most of City's growth has been of more recent years, since Sheikh Mansour's club takeover in September 2008. Needless to say, the club has exponentially improved financially, as well as on the pitch, with their debt reducing from 75% in 2005 to zero in modern times. The second highest wage bill in the world has seen the club take 2 Premier League titles in the 11-12 and 13-14 seasons, increasing broadcasting and commercial revenues as a result of their success. Just missing out on a podium position in 4th place is Bayern Munich, registering a value of £1.5 billion or $2.34 billion. A beacon of consistency, the club has continually grown over the decade, enough to hold its 4th richest club in the world mantle. As a Bundesliga club, Bayern has been handicapped with significantly smaller broadcast revenues than their English, Spanish and Italian rivals. To put this into perspective, during the 13-14 season, EPL's bottom team, Cardiff City, earned more than twice the amount of Bayern Munich in domestic TV revenue. Despite this, Bayern makes up for their broadcast limitations through their large commercial revenue figures, amassing over €291 million over the past season, more than any of the top 10 valued clubs. Bayern has tripled their merchandising revenue since 2009 and has now paid off their outstanding debts on Allianz Stadium 15 years early. Their success off the pitch has been supported by their on-field achievements, boasting 6 Bundesliga titles, 5 German Cups, a Champions League and a World Club Championship in the last decade, entrenching themselves as one of the biggest brands in world football. Rounding out the top 3 is EPL giant Manchester United, worth over £2 billion or $3.1 billion. As a previous number 1, United remains one of the most valuable football clubs in the world, in spite of their lack of success since Sir Alex Ferguson's departure in 2013. Following an underwhelming season, United still proved a global leader in producing commercially successful events, earning more than any other club in matchday revenues at over €129 million. Off the back of 5 Premier Leagues and a Champions League title, United has grown by 126% over the decade, unfortunately not enough to hold its number 1 spot lost in 2013. However, record-breaking shirt sponsorship and kit deals signed this year with Chevrolet and Adidas respectively could see them challenge for the top spots once again. Moving on to number 2, we move to Spain to look at FC Barcelona, coming in at £2.07 billion or $3.17 billion. The Catalan Giants are the biggest movers over the past decade, moving up from 9th position in 2005 and growing by an incredible 620% in value. The brand has benefited significantly from being the most successful club over the past decade by some distance, amassing 6 La Liga titles, 3 Copa del Reys, 4 Champions League titles, and finishing as FIFA World Club Champion 2 times. Off the back of on-field success, Barca has continually grown commercial revenues, whilst benefiting significantly from a favourable proportion of La Liga TV revenues in recent seasons. With the number of deals set to be renewed, including their current Qatar Airways sponsorship, which is predicted to double for the 2016-17 season, Barca has cemented itself as a top 3 club for some time to come. And the number 1 club rounding out a Spanish top 2 is Real Madrid, valued at £2.14 billion or $3.26 billion. Real Madrid's 222% growth over the decade was enough to climb the 1 position it needed to claim the top spot, held since 2013. 3 La Liga titles and a 2012-13 Champions League title have ensured the club's ongoing commercial growth, whilst boasting the largest broadcast deal in world football, earning over €204 million in the past season alone. The club has also topped the total revenue charts for the 10th consecutive year. Their kit deal renewed with Adidas in 2012 is worth $41 million a year, the largest of its kind before this year's landmark Manchester United deal. Their jersey sponsorship with Emirates adds an additional $39 million, reinforcing their position as the world's most valuable club. Thanks for watching our very first video. Feel free to provide any feedback or ideas for future episodes. Otherwise, subscribe and look out for our next video covering another insight into football.